release of the White Fox in the last season, I thought it was time we finally talk about a problem that I've been having with this game ever since its launch, and that's the fact that around 70% of the characters in this game have the same exact ult, except for they do tiny little different things here and there, and they're mainly just cosmetic differences. So I'll show you what I mean, starting with the Vanguard first, and then we'll get to the strategists because they're really bad. So check this out. Groot's ult, it's a CC and a group up ult. Angela, CC and a group up. Doctor Strange, a CC, but this time a stun. The Thing, CC again, and a stun. Hulk, who's a CC, and he's like a pure knockback, like a pure crowd control. Penny Parker, CC and knockback. Emma, CC, and actually this time, hers is the most different so far. She pulls the characters towards her. Now there are some outlying tanks that have some really good and really unique ults. Obviously Magneto with his ult where he absorbs projectiles and his becomes more powerful and then he can launch it at people and one-shot them. Rogue's Heartbreaker ultimate ability where she can dive in and absorb attributes. You know, if there's a tank caught in her path, she gains more health. If there's a healer in her path, she gets a healing ability. If there's DPS in her path, she gets more damage. So those are two very well done and very unique ults. Realistically, half of the Vanguard ults do the same exact thing with tiny little tweaks here and there. Really just negligible differences, right? And now here's where it gets really bad. We're moving on to the strategist ults. So Invisible Woman, Immortality ult. Luna Snow, Immortality ult. Cloak and Dagger, Immortality ult. White Fox, Immortality ult. Rocket, Immortality ult. Mantis, Immortality ult. Deadpool, Immortality ult. Gambit, Immortality. His is the slowest out of all of them. As long as you can strafe and get behind cover, it's a low grade version of immortality. I believe it's 50 healing per second, you know? So it's not a hard and fast immortality. And then Jeff the Shark, we could count his as immortality because if you stand in the circle he leaves behind, it is literally like instant healing. But I'm not going to include that one just because it requires the team to have a brain cell and get in the circle. And you really never see people get in that circle. Literally, all of them are immortality ults in some way, shape, or form, right? Obviously, Luna Snow, Invisible Woman, Cloak and Dagger are the main immortality ults with the sheer healing just being absolutely insane. And like I said, they do have their own little tiny unique differences thrown in, like Invisible Woman, you're invisible when you're inside her ult. Luna Snow has the damage boost option. White Fox can do actually a pretty good amount of damage and move around very quickly, things like that. Then you have Mantis and Rocket, whose immortality actually comes from overshields, and the overshields keep replenishing. So you actually don't get healed. You just gain like an 8-second immortality basically from shields. Then you have Gambit, who has the lowest amount of healing for his ult, but as long as you can strafe and avoid continuous direct fire, you will basically be immortal. His is definitely the closest to not actual immortality. Then Deadpool as well. His ult is a little bit slower on his healing, but he can combine it with his E ability to literally just make it a guaranteed immortality ult. Still, at the end of the day, they all do the same exact thing with tiny little differences here and there. Literally, almost all of the strategists have sustained ults. Adam Warlock definitely has one of the most unique ones with his, you know, Soul Bond, his Resurrect ability. So there are some good ones, but I just wish that Marvel Rivals actually came up with more unique, more interesting ultimate abilities. And I'm a little bit concerned because we're only a year into the game and like half the roster does the exact same thing with just little tweaks here and there. And they plan on adding like a shit ton of heroes every month. And it's just going to be very depressing to get like 10 more tanks and it's just a CC and a stun and a CC and a group up. So yeah, I think they could easily change some of these things. I actually do have a rework for an Angela ult that would make her insanely fun and interesting and also very good and not just another boring ass CC ult ability. It would essentially be a pick ult, but I'm going to save that for another video. So if you guys want to check that out, if you guys are interested, I suggest you subscribe and stick around. And that should be the next video coming out on my channel. I really can't wait. I feel like a lot of people would love to have that in the game. But yeah, that does it for this one. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys notice the same pattern too, or let me know if you guys think that I'm off base. Like I said, some of them do different things here and there, but it's just they're all almost the exact same in my opinion. So that does it for this one. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to that good stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one.